Hey, what's going on guys? My name is Amir, and in this video I want to show you exactly how I took this absolutely neglected Toyota Camry and fixed it up, gave it a new life, and turned it into thousands of dollars worth of profit. I'm going to take you throughout this entire process of how I found the car, how I negotiated the deal, the things that needed to be fixed, all the costs that it took to fix the car, and finally, how much I flipped it for. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So here we have the original listing of that Camry. As you can see, it was posted only about 8 minutes ago, so I caught it right on time. Now let's take a look at the description real quick. It says that the windshield is cracked because a tree fell on it, has a check engine and an ABS light on, and the master thing is that he needs it gone fast. And that's the key word, fast, because he needs the cash. So this gives us a lot of buying and negotiating power when we actually go ahead and check out the car in person. Now let's take a look at this thing a little bit closer. The windshield is absolutely horrendous. There seems to be some dents on the hood. The back, the seats, oh my god, this thing looks absolutely filthy. And that, I believe, is the check engine light on, the ABS light on, and that's the crack from the inside. So this car definitely needs some TLC. So I'm going to keep that in mind, especially when I'm negotiating the price, to make sure that we are getting the best bang for our buck. Before we go out there and check out the car in person, I wanted to exactly know the numbers and see what we're working with, so we can calculate potential repair costs and at the end how much profit we can possibly make. This allows us to have a good number in mind, especially when we're negotiating, to make sure that we are getting the best bang for our buck. So I'm gonna just go on the almighty KBB and just go under my car's value. Here I'm going to input all the basic info about the car. So I just put in all the basic info about the car, just pricing with the standard equipment. The color is black. Now over here is where it's actually pretty important. So we want to assess the car in the fair range because it still has some mechanical issues, the check engine light and the ABS light on. And when we sell it, we're going to get the value in either the good or very good condition, depending on how well we can actually end up restoring the car. So let's go ahead and click fair and see what it gives us in terms of how much we should buy the car for. So every time we're looking to buy, we want to make sure we are looking at the trade-in tab. This is the amount the dealers are willing to pay at a wholesale price. So the closer that we can get within this range, the higher the chances of us getting a great deal and coming out on the other side when we sell it with a nice chunk of profit. So as you can see, for this car, its trade-in value, median value, is about $3,090. So the car is already priced well below that at $2,800. And I'm sure in person, especially the person needs the cash fast, we can negotiate it down even below this. So we're already actually playing in a pretty good field. Now I'm gonna go ahead and switch the condition to good and know what we can sell the car for. So I'm just gonna click good and go under private party, and as you can see, that's about $5,600 that we can sell the car for in the median range, depending on how well, or even if we just kind of restore it good enough, we can still sell it for about $4,800. So that's a decent enough profit. So let's just do some quick math here. I'm going to pull up my calculator. Let's say we end up selling the car for $5,000. Even after buying it and repairing it for $3,000, that's still possibly a $2,000 profit that we can possibly make. So this gives us a good amount of bargaining room, as well as even let's say I buy the car as is at that price, I can still come out on the other side with a nice profit. The next question I wanted to ask was what the check engine light was about, because that's the one thing I was concerned about. I wanted to make sure it wasn't such a big deal. He just said the engine misfires, which led me to conclude that it's actually a pretty simple fix. It probably just needs a tune-up, maybe spark plugs, maybe ignition coils. So it's probably not that expensive to fix and something I can probably do on my own. The next thing I wanted to ask him was what his bottom dollar was. So the reason why I asked him that over text is because I just wanted to see exactly how flexible he is on the price. I didn't want to offer him exactly like, hey, I'll offer you $2,000, but I wanted to see how willing he is to be flexible, just so I know in my mind how much further I can negotiate once I get there in person. So the first thing I did in the morning is I went ahead, checked out the car, made him an offer for $2,350 and bought the car. lo and behold, the car was in my driveway. Now let's go ahead and take a closer look at some of those damages that we need to go ahead and get addressed. So here we have the hood. It has some minor impact from that tree falling on it. Maybe we can probably pop it out just by giving it a few nudges from the back. Now this is the infamous crack on the windshield. This was actually pretty scary because on my way home, this thing was actually moving inside the car. I didn't want that glass to just shatter all over my face. Now the hubcaps, all 4 of them were missing, as you can see. This coolant leak over here is no biggie. It's not from this car. It was actually from a Prius I was changing the water pump on. Now the back of the car was a little bit bubbly from that tint. Nothing too major. I was probably not going to fix that. Now, this quarter panel was interesting. Whoever fixed this did a pretty bad job on it. As you can see, it had a lot of orange peel, did not even properly blend it in. And again, it just made the whole condition of the body look pretty rough. As well as this door, whoever painted this door left a pretty bad orange peel and a hazy look on it. Now, instead of me trying to fix it, I just bought a black door from another Camry from LKQ for like 80 bucks. And I'm just going to slap that on instead of trying to repaint it and go through all of that BS trying to fix the car. Other than that, that was pretty much it. Those were all the physical things that the car needed to be fixed. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the mechanical things. Now on my way back home, after driving the car for a little bit, the ABS light went away on its own. That was there in the pictures, but we still have to take care of that check engine light. So I plugged in my OBD2 scanner, and it turns out that we needed to replace the second ignition coil. I hit up my boy Jeff Bezos and ordered a brand new ignition coil off of Amazon and took the old one out and popped the new one right in, and we were good to go. Once we popped that ignition coil in, we let the engine run for a little bit, and that check engine light was gone, and we were ready to get in. Then I proceeded to remove that hazy looking door. Now some of you might just look at this and be like, hey, is this an old car? Just leave the door works, it's fine. But the one thing I learned when flipping cars is that the physical appearance of the car is just as important, if not more important, than the mechanical condition of the car. Because from the customer's point of view, although the car may be 10, 12 years old, to them, they're still buying a new car, and you want to make them feel as close to a new car buying experience as possible. And by addressing and fixing any major physical imperfections, you're making that car that much more attractive for your potential buyer. Now, once that door was finally on, I called up my windshield guy to go ahead and replace that broken windshield, because that was the one major thing that was actually really bugging me, and I wanted to actually drive the car as well after fixing the ignition coil. So he went ahead and popped off that old broken windshield and put on a fresh brand new windshield, which was extremely clean and satisfying to see. Now, once the windshield was installed, the final thing left to do was to install these hubcaps on all 4 of those wheels. These are just some hubcaps I got from AutoZone, and once I installed these, the car looked immaculate. It was pretty much complete, and the last thing that was left to do was to detail it on the inside. You know what that meant? Taking it to the detail shop and getting it cleaned inside and out. Now, I always preach this. Get your cars cleaned and detailed. It will not only make it 10 times easier for you to sell, but as I said, it gives your buyer that new car buying experience from a used car. And that makes the customer feel more welcomed in their new car, and they can even potentially overlook some of the minor flaws that the car may even have just because it's clean. And just look at how far she's come from the day we picked her up. We fixed that horrendous windshield crack. We put a fresh new door, new ignition coil, and hubcaps, and a nice cleanup inside and out, and she was ready to go. Now she's ready to be photographed and sold to someone who can hopefully take care of her better than the previous owner did. So before I went ahead and posted the car, I wanted to do a quick cost breakdown to know exactly how much we put into the car and how much we should price it at accordingly to make sure that we are getting a good ROI. Let's go over all of the fixes that we did to the car and take a look at how much we spent exactly fixing this thing and getting it up to this point. So the first thing that I bought was that door from LKQ, which was $80. The second thing that was absolutely most needed was that freaking windshield. The part delivery and install of that windshield cost me about $135, which is not bad. The next thing was that ignition coil, which cost me 30 bucks on Amazon. Luckily, I just needed one and it was good to go. And lastly, I just needed a decent enough detail. I didn't go into a full-on clean detail where I, cleaned the engine, shampooed the carpets and the seating, because the car was already decently clean enough. for me to kind of get by without having to spend that kind of extra money. So I just paid $25 for that quick, easy cleanup where they went ahead and shined the car, gave it a nice wax and compound from the outside, as well as vacuum the inside of the car and give the dash a little bit of shine and get all of those little pieces of glass that fell inside of the car out, basically make the car look presentable again. So in total, I spent exactly $300 repairing this car, give or take the taxes and all the little nitty-gritty stuff. But so $300 was the rough estimate of how much it cost me to fix. So if we go ahead and take that original amount, which is $2,350, and add the $300 to it, our grand total comes out to be $2,660, which is very good. I was expecting a lot more, especially that check engine light. I was like, I don't know what exactly that is, but literally that's where we got lucky, and I decided to go ahead and take a chance. So $2,660 was not a bad figure. We're still at the very edge of that trade-in mark, which means that we have plenty of room for profit. Now, I know that the car was still not at 100% yet, and I didn't want to spend that extra time and effort into making it at 100% because, again, it's not worth the ROI. I know the hood still had that dent on it, and I really didn't feel like taking it to the body shop and having the downtime to fix it. It still looks acceptable for a used car. The grill pieces were missing at the bottom. The seats were still a bit dirty. I wish I could actually shampoo them, but again, the car market is just so hot right now, you can probably get away with, again, selling it for a decent price and getting rid of the car quick. And that's my whole strategy with these cars. I try to buy them and sell them quick. Even if I'm not making a whole lot on the profit side, it still gives me fast cash and that cash flow to go ahead and invest in other cars instead of me worrying about all the nitty-gritty things about that one specific car. And my buyer who's buying it, they know exactly what they're getting into as well. It's not like I'm hiding anything mechanical from them, which I first and foremost always take care of. So that's why I went ahead and I listed the car on Facebook Marketplace for $4,800. I just wanted to get rid of this car just quick and out of my driveway just within a day or two. And just within a day of posting this car on Marketplace, my messages were absolutely blowing up. Like, people would message literally every like 15-20 minutes, and I was like, okay, this is hot in demand. I could have raised the price, but I was like, hey, if I'm getting someone to make me a reasonable offer, I'll just go ahead and take it. So this guy ended up offering me $4,000 for the car, which was pretty low, and I was like, hey, you know, the car's actually worth $5,500, but I understand all of the damages and whatnot, so that's why we ended up settling the deal at $4,400. So if we go ahead and take $4,400 and subtract the grand total, which took me to buy and fix the car, which is $2,660, our profit comes out to be $1,740, which is not bad at all. And these cars are super hot in demand in my area, and especially with the car market so hot right now, this was an instant sell, and I was really happy about that. And the biggest takeaway from this video is that anytime you see a deal, doesn't matter what time it is, you have to act fast. Just like how this Camry was posted 8 minutes ago, and it wasn't even posted in the cars and trucks section, it was posted in the auto parts section. So I just went ahead, acted fast. Within 8 minutes of him posting it, I contacted him, and I was the first one to go see it. Now, had someone else seen it, or had I not been checking frequently Craigslist or Marketplace, I would have probably missed the deal. Being proactive is absolutely key. So whenever those flip-worthy deals are posted, you can go ahead and be the first one to contact them. And the next thing I always recommend people who are getting into car flipping is to always see the car for what it could potentially be instead of what it is. But because most people who are scrolling through, they're browsing as customers. We as car flippers, we're browsing as something we can make money from. So those cars that most people will look over that may have some damage, some wear and tear, maybe a check engine light, some minor mechanical problems, which you can easily diagnose and fix, considering we have YouTube and all these resources online that we can use to diagnose these simple problems. When I saw this car, I didn't see it for a car that has a tree fell on it, has a check engine light, an ABS light on, and a hazy door. I saw it for what it could be and what I could make it, and for what it took for me to make it was actually not that hard because I saw the vision and I have the prior experiences of flipping these cars. So my advice to you would be to scope out those cars that people often neglect or don't really want. Because usually that's where the money is, on things people don't want to put in the work to. And if you go ahead and fix up some of these little things, there's a good opportunity for you to make some cash. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and took something away from it. If you guys did, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up. If you want to see more flipping videos like this, let me know in the comment section below. below. I also posted another car flipping video a few weeks ago. It was a 2004 or 5 Corolla. That was actually a very interesting one, so I'm gonna also link it here so you can go ahead and check that out. That one was a very fun one to do. But yeah, I mean, if you're in the mood to check it out, go ahead and click it here. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. I'll go ahead and see you guys in the next video. Peace.